So one of the things, both Christine and I are classroom teachers, and at the beginning of every year, you get like a list of all the things you have to get done, right? Like, this is your math curriculum, your reading curriculum, writing curriculum. And like, I have like a good like 5-minute breakdown where I'm like, I'm never gonna fit this in my day. Right. And so then one of the things when we started doing a lot of reading and thinking about this, we knew is that it couldn't be something added in, because if I added something in, I couldn't wrap my brain around the fact that like, oh, I'm gonna have 30 minutes to teach optimism. It wasn't gonna fit and it wasn't gonna happen. And so when we were talking and working with teachers at our school, we found is that it wasn't so much changing our day as much as changing our thinking about our day. And so we stopped seeing just the explicit aspects of our curriculum. So in this read aloud, we're working on inferring character feelings, but at the same time, we can be working on the ways of thinking about the world. So we could be talking about persistence and optimism through a lens of character. We could use things like a writing workshop share. So before a writing workshop share might be, can you talk about how you stretched out this word? Now we could say to kids, could you talk about how you used self-talk? How were you flexible in stretching out that word? Or how were you persistent in tackling that problem? So kids started to pick up the language within the context of what we were doing already. It didn't become anything new as much as we started to think about what we did in new ways.
And as the year unfolded, we kept hearing and experiencing more examples of this. And so as I read Charlotte's Web aloud to my class, then all of a sudden, instead of talking about just the character of Wilbur or Charlotte, we're talking about empathy and optimism. And the third graders are bringing these ideas onto the table. And then small moment stories suddenly halfway through the unit took a turn where everybody was falling skiing or falling on their bike or having a fight and then getting back up and being resilient. And so it was really powerful over the last few years to watch these stances be woven in, not just by us into what we're doing, but also by the students we're teaching. And that's the exciting moment where all of a sudden things are starting to really click and you see it just in the water.
And it felt like it was tweaks, not complete turns. Like instead of my think aloud during a lesson being, watch me as I, try to figure out this word, I would say, watch me, I'm gonna try to be flexible right now. Oh, that didn't work, let me try this other way. Oh, did you see I was being flexible just then? I overheard 2 kids talking at a table, and one of them was like, you just need to be persistent. And the kid back's like, I'm trying to be persistent. And he's like, well, be flexible then. And I just like had this bird's eye view where it wasn't as though I had said to them, I had done a 35-minute lesson on persistence, but in weaving it across the entire day, it started to pop up through, it was like in the ether at that point, like in the water. Even to the point where parents were saying things to me like, I was really upset about putting together a piece of IKEA furniture and my child told me to be a little more persistent. And I was like, yep.
Yeah. We've been there.
Yeah. They're like, be more flexible, Christy. I don't want to.